How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today we got ourselves 2 Pokemon Legends EA rumors, as well as some information slash news slash just stuff to talk about when it comes to the Switch 2 situation. So let's get started. First things first is going to be this right here. This is a shared post by PoriLeaks, which apparently it turns out that the people behind the most recent, I guess this originally is from Stealth 40K, but basically the people that like came out, the company, I think they're called Genki. They had actually were the ones who sort of leaked the actual shape and design of the Switch 2. Well, it turns out they're in trouble. And not just a little bit of trouble, they're in big trouble. Turns out Nintendo's lawyers and slash ninjas confronted Genki in Vegas. According to Julien Telloc, famous French video game journalist, Nintendo came shortly to the CES booth with lawyers, asking them what's up, and Genki responded that they did nothing wrong and never signed an NDA. But Nintendo is on the case and they're probably going to sue them, which is interesting. Now, Nintendo's sending lawyers to an event they weren't officially attending over their unannounced console. Doesn't seem like the craziest thing they've ever done. Will it make a difference? I don't think so. The internet already already feels like they know what the Switch successor is, which is true. Honestly, this can only be blamed. You can say whatever you want about Genki as a company, and you can like complain and whatever, and be like, hey, they have no right to share it. I'm gonna be real with you. Nintendo could have also just announced this thing. Let's be real. They could have just announced it. It literally takes one tweet and you can announce the actual console and just show a picture of it and that's it. Or you can actually do a big campaign and or whatever. But realistically, they could have already announced it and avoided this kind of stuff. Because here's the reality of it. Things are going to leak. No matter what you do, things will leak. There are unscrupulous people who will genuinely just go out of their way, either just because they want to share stuff, they want to share what they're excited for, or something they know and they're really excited to share it, or just want the attention for it, or they just want to put it out there for the hell of it, right? There are people who just want to do that, and of course, we want to know. So of course, we're going to look at it, we're going to, actually read what's being said and what's being shared. Like, that's just how humans work. That's just human nature. So it's only to be expected. So the best thing you can do as an actual company is just try yourself to get it out before. Like, try to get the information out before anybody else so that there isn't conflicting info. Because right now, the kind of running sort of theory or running mood around the Switch 2 is that we know nothing about it except all the stuff that's been told to us by these insiders and other companies and stuff, and we know everything about the console, but at the same time we know technically nothing officially. We only know stuff that's been told to us. And even Nintendo themselves came out and said that apparently hey, what you guys have seen is not official, which we all know is not official, but we know that it's most likely the real Switch 2. So basically, this more or less is a confirmation of that information, right? It's more or less confirms that, yes, what we have seen and what's being said is actually true. So that's pretty much what this confirms, which is kind of funny. So that was one of the first things. The next thing we're going to take a look at is right here is this rumor that is right below me. So we're going to read this one. This one's, of course, from 4chan, so just keep that in mind. There are actually 2 4chan rumors we're going to look at today. This is the first one. It's the shorter one. Then the second one is a really long one because it was sent to me by one of the viewers, one of you guys. I already knew about it, but I was saving it for a later time to cover, but thought I might as well do both today. So yeah, the first one says this though: Gen 10 Pokemon Kota, frozen in English, and Pokemon Netsu, Pokemon Heat. So Pokemon, I guess frozen and Pokemon Heat. I mean, sure, that could work. I mean, again, the next generation of Pokemon needs to, of course, have this sort of, how would you say it? Duality, right? Like, every Pokemon game has a level of duality to it, right? A duel between 2 elements, right? Or 2 things. So, for example, red and blue, what else? Gold, silver, right? What else is there? Ruby, sapphire, diamond, pearl, right? There's a duality between those things, right? There's a sort of duality thing going on. So, them doing Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, where can they really go next? Cold and ice, I guess ice and flames or fire, I don't know. Anything's possible. So those are not that crazy to assume they could be real. And again, we have had real posts like this from 4chan that have came out to be real. Just keep that in mind. Next they say, though, that apparently the region is based in Italy with the islands Sicily, Sardinia, and Corsica. Okay. So the islands are available as well. Okay, cool. That's not that crazy to assume. Italy being the next region, there's a lot of stuff already hinting at that. So it's not too far-fetched or too crazy to believe it. That's basically what I'm going to tell you. It's not too crazy to believe this could be like where they actually base it on. So just keep that in mind. It's highly possible. They move on then and say that the starters are grass wolf, fire ibex, or it's like a goat, and water platypus. See, the water platypus, that just makes me think, like, also, let's see, hold up. It just makes me think of this. Just makes me think of this bad boy right here. You guys may remember this little platypus. This is an actual Fakemon that became a real Temtem, by the way. And, of course, Temtem is one of the few games competing with Pokemon, I guess you could say, if you want to put it that way. But, yeah, like, that kind of reminds me of that, which makes me wonder if they would genuinely do that. But, again, they have used Fakemons as inspiration for actual Pokemon before. Like, this is a real thing. I remember many years ago, I actually, like, saw this too. But, either way... moving on, though, they say apparently Frozen Legendary is an Ice Ghost Owl, and the Heat one Legendary is a Fire Ghost Phoenix. Okay? For some reason, I feel like that just sounds too... Like, they sound cool, and I'm okay with it, but it sounds too basic. I feel like that's the thing with Game Freak. They try to go a little bit out there with their IDs and stuff. And for some reason, an Ice Ghost Owl that's frozen and a Phoenix just doesn't sound... as bombastic or interesting as you'd think. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't sound that special. But again, who knows? Then they say the gimmick is fusion. See, I would love to believe that. I think fusion is one of the few features in Pokemon that has not been fully explored. They already kind of did a little bit of fusion back in Black and White. Like, that's where they kind of tested fusion mechanics with, like, the legendaries and stuff in Black and White too. But I think they can go further with that. I think they could go way further with that, and I would hope they would do it. And I really don't think there's anywhere else they can go, like, next, right? Like, that's why we're kind of getting Megas back now with, like, ZA. Maybe they're trying to reintroduce Megas because they're going to make Megas, like, a mainline feature again. Who knows? Maybe they're not. Like, at least that's the feeling I'm getting, is, like, maybe they're trying to reintroduce it because they're running out of IDs. Because where can you realistically go next, right? You've done like... think about Pokemon features, like big features in recent years. Mega evolutions were like the next stage of evolutions. You already had, like, you know, first, second, third stage, or like, sorry, second and third, you know, stage evolutions and stuff like that. First, second, third, right? And then you had Megas, which were like the fourth evolution, right? Or like the third, whatever way you want to put it, right? But they were like the next level of evolution, right? And they were temporary. So you had that. Then you had special moves, which was Z moves. Then you had past and future forms, right? Which is what you had in Scarlet and Violet. You've also had, like, you've had a lot of these features that have already been done. And there's really not many more directions you can go in terms of features that are related to the Pokemon that could be like a big, like, selling point, right? Megas were the selling point of X and Y. But what's going to be the selling point for the next game? What is the next big feature? What could that even be? Because Scarlet and Violet's big selling point was the open world, right? Was the open world slash... like traversal and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of what the big deal was with, you know, Scarlet and Violet. But what's going to be the big selling point for Gen 10? Like, that's the big question. And Fusion would be a cool one because Fusion opens up the door for so much shit, okay? Because you don't have to make Fusion fully functional with every Pokemon, but you can introduce the concept of fusions, which would also, by the way, lower the amount of stuff you actually need to do from a design standpoint. Like, you don't need to design a full-fledged new Pokemon if you can fuse two Pokemon together. And if you limit the amount of Pokemon that can actually fuse, the same way you limit the amount of Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, you would have an easier time to actually get it out there and not make it a feature that's impossible to actually pull off. But nonetheless, we move on. And then they say that apparently Team Rocket is going to be returning, which... I'm sorry, I love Team Rocket, but man, I prefer if you just make a new evil team, organization, whatever. Just do something different. Don't just bring back Team Rocket. That's a little bit lazy. Then normal horse type is the rider for all of the region, with also flying and water form. Okay. And then apparently Kingfisher, Cyclops, Pyro evolution with wings, Phalanx evolution, and Scorpion Pokemon. Okay. DLC set in the Nile, which, that's so random if that was true. But anyway, that was the first rumor. I'm going to be real. I doubt this one's real, though I do think we're going to see like potentially we might get Greece or Italy for the next region. Like, for me, it's between three countries. It's between either Greece, Italy, or the Netherlands. It's one of those three. I don't think anything else has a chance, at least to me, based on current information and current stuff we know. Of course, whenever they reveal, Generation 10 next year in 2026, whenever they do reveal it, it's gonna be probably like, you know, a biggest surprise ever, and we're gonna be like, oh my god, they were hinting it already in Scarlet and Violet, and we just didn't realize it yet. So we'll see. But for me personally, those 3 countries are like the highly possible ones, that being Greece, you know, Greece, Italy, and the Netherlands. One of those 3. They just seem like the most likely to me. But again, I'm just a dum-dum. What do I know? But yeah, that's one of the first things. Then we have actually a second rumor. Now, this one is massive. This is the biggest rumor post I've ever seen. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a post that this long. So bear with me, sit back, relax. I'm going to read through all of this. If you want to pause, you can read it yourself. I'm also going to move the screen a little bit so you guys can see all the text yourself. If you want, you can pause and read it yourself. But I'm just going to go through this straightforward because there's so much. So here's what it says. Hello, I've posted information regarding ZA previously. However, at the time, I only had a handful of information, mostly regarding the story and characters. I've discovered a lot more about the game since then, so I'll be covering that here. Keep in mind, I will be retreading on the information mentioned in my previous post. Now, here's the thing. I don't know which the original thread was for this, but let's see what it's all about. So it says, general information. Game takes place in the 19th century. And he's talking about ZA here. And also this image, I don't know if this is supposed to be in some way, supposed to be like a real image. This is obviously fake. Like no offense. Whoever drew this, you know how to draw, and it's nice. But this is not Sugimori style art or quality. It just isn't. Unless this is supposed to be just a concept art of what you saw, but either way. They say, general information, game takes place in the 19th century. Events of the game occur a couple of years after Legends Arceus. Does not take place entirely within Lumio City. That one singular X post was wrong and did not have enough information on the game at that time. See, this is where you already lose me here. That tweet would not say that the game exclusively takes place in Lumios if that wasn't the actual case. Like, that just hands down doesn't make any sense. I'm just gonna be real with you. It doesn't make any sense, and I just find that to be like bullshit. Either way, they then say Kalos at this time was known as the Anthos region. Okay, you play as the newest member of Quasar's company, the Quasar Company, the organization responsible for Project Flare. The goal of each chapter is to go to each of the 5 locations, battle the Guardians, convince the retainers to allow the Quasar Company to use the Infinity Fountains to power Lumio City. Starters are simply Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie like in X and Y. However, they each come with a brand new Mega Evolution. ZA is directed by Kazumasa Iwao, who of course has worked on some other... Actually, I think he worked on Heart Gold Soul Silver. I could be wrong. Or am I crazy? I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me see the games he's worked on. So he's credited on... No. He worked on Platinum, Black and White 2, Harmonite, which is a different game, X and Y, Oras, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, Legends Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet. So he's basically worked on a lot of different stuff. In terms of what he's like worked on, though, since Platinum was just special thanks, but then he's done a lot of the user interface to stuff, for like Black and White, and then did the Black and White version game design, then a lot of game and map designing, battle and contest system design, game map design, battle system design, section director, field system design, and concept planning, director of Ultra Sun and Moon, and then planning section director, and then the director of Legends Arceus. So yes, the fella has worked on a lot of different stuff, and if he directed Arceus, I would put my trust in him to genuinely to do it again. Either way, they continue and say story and gameplay. The story starts off with the discovery of a large amount of infinity energy being found in the middle of what was, at the time, a rundown Lumio City, leading to many people moving there. Now, this energy spot is known as Infinity Fountain, and there is 6 total fountains found throughout Anthos. The other 5 fountains have been sacred locations in Anthos, and the 6th one, found in Lumio City, was lost to time until it was uncovered by Pavlos. These other fountains are guarded by 5 ancient Pokemon known as the Guardians. Okay, these 5 Pokemon were the other 5 companions of AZ along with his Floette. That actually would be a cool concept. I'm not gonna lie, that would be pretty cool. Now, the 5 Guardians present at the firing of the Ultimate Weapon, so they have all gained the immortality with AZ. The 5 Guardians are Cleavor, Slowking, Heliobas, Go-Go, Dragonite. You fight them in their Mega Evolved forms in the game's boss battles. Okay, now these Guardians all have retainers. These retainers are part of a clan that work alongside the royal family. The 5 retainers are spokespeople for the Guardians. Think of them like the Kalos equivalent to the Draconids mixed with the Wardens from PLA. Okay. Now, the 6th Guardian responsible for protecting the Infinity Fountain in Lumio City was AZ's Floette, but since it had been left to somewhere unknown, it was left unprotected. The discovery of this Infinity Fountain and the potential of it being able to revolutionize technology of the time leads to the Pavlos founding Project Flare within the Quasar Company, beginning the reurbanization of Lumio City. Now, Project Flare is a project wherein the Quasar Company uses the Infinity Fountains in order to expand the living space of Lumio City, but also keep in mind the existing habitats of the Pokemon living just outside the expanding city. It's to give some flair to the old Lumio City. However, Pavlos' vision for the city is so large scale that it would require all six Infinity Fountains. Is this supposed to be a joke on Infinity Stones? Requires all 6 Infinity Fountains in order to for Lumio City to be properly powered. Okay. Then apparently, the Quasar Company is divided into 3 divisions. The Ecological Division, responsible for serving the Anthos region for material and Pokemon to help with development of the city. This is the division the player is part of. The Industrial Division, led by Sigvald, which is responsible for developing the infrastructure of the city and building power lines that connects the Infinity Fountain to Lumio City. Finally, the Executive Division, which is the head of both divisions and are responsible for making sure the city is a place for both people and Pokemon. The base of operations is what was known as Lumio's Plaza, which later becomes the place where Prism Tower is built. The underground hub eventually becomes Lysander's lab in X and Y. The reason it's underground is because the King of Anthos is against the Quasar Company's tampering with the Infinity Fountains, and so in order to hide from their jurisdiction, they built their base underground and is undetectable from the surface. Okay. Now, the king, being upset with the Quasar Company tampering of the Infinity Fountains, will send some of the royal guards to come after the player. Early on in the game, the player comes across a lone Zygarde core. It quickly befriends the player and becomes the first Pokemon on the player's team, even before the starters. After progressing enough through the game, the player will collect enough Zygarde cells in order to upgrade Zygarde to be rideable, like Koraidon, Miraidon, and Scarlet Violet mixed with the rideable Pokemon from PLA. There's also brand new forms of Zygarde for running, swimming, and climbing, as well as gliding. These forms are not given designated percentages like the other forms that are not usable in battle. That makes sense. Fair enough, I guess. You'll be able to throw Pokeballs while riding any of the Zygarde forms. There's also a dodging mechanic where Zygarde will dissolve into various cells to avoid enemies. Okay. Now, the player meets Curie. So we continue with the story stuff here. They say the player meets Curie early on, and also and eventually will acquire the Mega Ring from him, along with, of course, the Keystone. Now, some Mega Stones are found around the various maps in certain places. They can also be found around the afternoon, mimicking how the players obtain the other Mega Stones in X and Y. Now, other Mega Stones have been crafted. The player will come across Mega Fragments around the maps, and mixing it with the right material will create Mega Stones. Now, once the player connects all 5 Infinity Fountains, I keep thinking of Infinity Stones, to Lumios, a celebratory project begins. This project is the construction of the Prism Tower. Sigvald is a secret villain of the game. Thank you for the spoiler. A ton of Infinity energy is necessary to awaken a legendary Alphisis, pronounced it as Alphisis. That seems like it's Alphisis. Okay, sure. I see what you did there. The end game has the players collecting the final remaining Zygardes in order to obtain 100% Zygarde and Mega Evolve it to defeat the now awakened Alphisis. During the game, it will be reported that many strange ring-shaped objects are appearing around Anthos. That sounds like something from Junji Ito, but either way, these are actually Hoopa rings. The rings function as a replacement for the space-time distortions from Legends Arceus. It's through these rings that you obtain the Kanto, Hoenn, and Kalos starters, the Kalos fossils, Aerodactyl, Kleavor, and more. In the post-game, several big portals will be spotted around Anthos, and the player will be tasked with investigating them. They're different from the other Hoopa rings, as they're stationary and found in isolated places around the various maps. Very similar to Oras Hoopa rings, this is how you get access to Mewtwo, Rayquaza, Latios, and Latias. Now, the Kalos Mythicals and Zeraora are obtainable via having save data on your Switch of existing Pokemon games. Scarlet Violet for Diancie, Legends Arceus for Hoopa, Sword and Shield for Volcanion, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl for Zeraora. Each legendary will have a small side quest where you encounter and catch each of them, which is fair because that's what they did for Legends Arceus as well. Either way. Also, during the postgame, sightings of the 3 legendary birds of Kanto have been reported roaming around different parts of the region. Just like the forces of nature in Legends Arceus, the player comes in contact with them and they Mega Evolve, starting a battle where you can catch each of them. Okay, now, Locations. The main hub is obviously Lumio City. It functions like a souped-up Jubilee village. Throughout the game, the city will slowly expand in an outward direction. Pokemon can be found and caught here. Lumio City, as mentioned previously, features a large underground facility where the Quasar Company resides. Pokemon can be found and captured around the outskirts of the city, but few are found exclusively in Lumios. Now they say, first place is the grassy area that encompasses Route 22 and 4, as well as Chantaluna City and Vannyville Town. The fountain is found near Chantaluna Forest and is guarded by the Guardian Cleavor. Second is a beach/cliff area on the east coast of Anthos that encapsulates Route 8 and 9, along with Salaji Village, Salaji City, geez, and the Geosinge Monument, which is the ultimate weapon. The Infinity Fountain is found in what would become Umbrella Town, and is guarded by the Guardian Slowking. Third place is a desert area with some partial grassy parts mixed in. It contains Route 5, 6, 7, 13, Camphrier Town, which looks almost identical to X and Y, and most notably Perfume Palace. The fountain is found in Route 13 and is guarded by the Guardian Heliolisk. Okay. The fourth place is a swampy autumn location that contains Routes 14, 15, 16, and Laveri City. The Infinity Fountain is found where Laveri City is, and Guardian is Go-Goat. Laveri City is the home of the Retainers, and their settlement can be found there. The fifth and final place is a snowy area that takes in that shows up, I guess, that has routes 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, as well as Anastar City, Koriyue Town, and Snowbell City. The Infinity Fountain is found in the Pokemon Village, and the Guardian is Dragonite. Sheesh, man, it's just a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie. This is just so much, man. Holy crap. All right, so let's go through the rest of the stuff. Now they say, apparently, so those are locations. Now they say characters. So you got Pavlos, the founder of the Quasar Company and the head of the Project Flare and the leader of the executive division. All right, fair enough. He's the ancestor of Lysander, which is the image we saw on top. He serves as the commanding officer, issuing the orders to enact in order to complete Project Flare. He secretly happens to be the prince of the Anthos region, but he ran away from his duties to pursue his dream of architecture. His father, King Gautier, does not like this. Sigvald, main villain of the game, head of the industrial division, not an ancestor of any existing character. He uses his position to tamper with the lines connecting the Infinity Fountains to Lumios and rewires them to the sleeping Alphasis, whatever it's called. Clementine, head of the scientists of the industrial division. She's an ancestor of Clement. She's unaware of Sigvald's plan and accidentally helps him, which she later regrets. She's involved in the chapter revolving around Guardian Heliolisk. In the post-game, it's explained that the Infinity Fountains are ironically a finite resource, and it's implied that Clementine is responsible for building the factories on Route 13 in X and Y. Then, King Gautier, father of Pavlos and the current king of Anthos. He's also an ancestor of Lysander. Curie, the Mega Evolution guru, and first person in history to Mega Evolve their Pokemon, besides Rayquaza. He's an ancestor of Corinna and Gherkin. He works besides the king, and is tasked with halting Project Flare, but after interacting with the player, he has a change of heart, gives the player the Mega Ring, and he is from Hisui along with his Lucario. Then you have Looker, an ancestor of Looker, a young child whose real name is never revealed, helps in the player's pursuit of stopping Emily, implied to maybe be the real Looker, but could just be an ancestor, post-game character, okay. Then Emily, an ancestor of Emma, she's a gentlewoman thief that the player and Looker pursue during the post-game. All right, cool. Then we have Ganko, inventor of the Pokeball. He's the ancestor of Kurt. After inventing the Pokeball 4 years ago, he retired after amassing vast wealth, though he does nothing with the money. He comes from the Johto region and came to the Anthos due to its expansive technological advances that Lumio City offers. He's involved in the chapter revolving around the Guardian Go-Goat. An AZ, returning character from X and Y, shows up around the end to explain Alphasis to the player and how to take it down. Gives the player the Zygarde, comes with slightly different design reflecting the clothing of Anthos. In the end credits, the player helps AZ catch his first Pokemon in 3,000 years, a Golett. He does not reunite with his Floette in this game, but Floette is catchable by the player in the post-game side quests. Volo, returning character from Legends Arceus. He's a wandering trainer traveling around the world in search of myths. Appears in the post-game as a tough bonus fight, but never goes crazy like in Arceus. Implies to the player that he helped Sigvald with his plans, but he never outright states it. They're there for fan service. Okay, miscellaneous abilities return, okay. Hisuian items and Pokemon are available via via the marketplace that is eventually built in Lumio City, there's an in-game trade for Hisuian Sligo and Hisuian Avalug for their Kalos counterparts. This is also how the player obtains the Black Augurite and various event-related items like Diansite, Zerorite, and Prison Bottle. Some Pokemon are found naturally as their regional form in Anthos, such as Galarian Ponyta. Okay. Then Pokemon. Roughly 330 Pokemon in the game. All previous Megas returned. 20 new Megas, 3 new regional forms, 4 new evolutions, 3 new convergent species, and 5 entirely new Pokemon. So that comes out to a total of like what? So you got like 25. Let me do the math on this real quick. So you got 20, 23, that puts us like what, like 27, 30, 35, about 35, I'm guessing. 35 new Megas, forms, Pokemon, etc., etc. So that's pretty decent. Then they say Mega Articuno, apparently, Ice Flying, Mega Zapdos, Mega Moltres, Mega Dragonite, Mega Granbull, Mega Slowking. Let's see, Mega Slowking, Mega Delcatty, Mega Frostlass, Mega Haxorus, Golurk, Mega Chestnut, Mega Delphox, Mega Greninja, Mega Gogoat, Mega Heliolisk, Zygarde, Zeraora, which Zeraora is an actual real one, we know, by the way, because it was leaked, Mega Frostmoth, Mega Cleavor, and Mega Alphasis. You guys can also pause here and look at the typings that they're given to these. So, yeah. Let's see. Hold up. Let's see. So we got let me see. Anthosian Torkoal. So regional Torkoal, regional Cuffent, regional Cufferaja. Then a new Pokemon, Chrono Owl, or I guess like convergence forms, I guess. Chrono Owl, Torkasqui, Duvaluv, and Surge Urchin. Okay. Ponbiard. Okay, no, I think these are supposed to be the conversion ones. Ponbiard, B-Sharp, really? B-Sharp, King Ambit. Okay, cool. Peepin, Galuster, Grabe, and then Buncherry and Alphasis. Okay, geez. Some of these names are crazy. And then, of course, they included a few images with this. This is supposed to be another one. It's supposed to be another one. And this is supposed to be the last one. Which it's the only one that kind of looked like interesting to me because the other ones just did not look like Pokemon's art style. But nonetheless, though, guys, that's the rumor. Now, I'm going to be real with you. I think it's most likely BS. I think it's just fun to read these because anything is possible. We've been wrong in the past, okay? We've been wrong about rumors in the past. We thought they were fake and they were real. A good example of this is Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee leak, right? If we just look this up, you guys may not remember this, but there was a Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee leak that actually ended up being, like, genuinely real. And people didn't believe it. Now, this is not the post about it, but there was an image, and I'm just trying to find it, because that image, I feel like is... There it is. So people actually thought this was a fake image back in the day. Like, people actually thought this was fake. This is a real image. It's a real leaked image of Pokemon... Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee before release. So anything is possible. Some stuff people think is fake could be real. But personally, in my opinion, that rumor that we just read, I highly doubt it's real. It's just kind of fan fiction, if you want to call it that. And that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it at, guys. So I'm going to thank you all for watching. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Sorry for not uploading yesterday. I was just busy with other stuff and I forgot to get a video out. But I'm back today and I should have another video out tomorrow. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for watching. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace out and bye-bye.